The tears I shed upon my cheek pose a question, whose hands do I seek? Why you and not me?
From tearful memories to fallen friends and incredible stories of valor, veterans are embedded in the fabric of our nation.
Every single one of these tags has a story of heroism behind it.
What makes us great is that it's in those moments that what we like to say in the military, stand in the gap.
From unsung heroes to those who stood tall in the face of peril. Tonight we share their stories, celebrate their lives, and remember their sacrifices. Tonight we honor the voices of veterans. Welcome, and we thank you for joining us for our Veterans Voices special as we honor those who serve. I'm Sasha Loftus. Veterans Day is right around the corner, and while it's well known here in the U.S., there are still some misconceptions about the holiday. Tonight, Tarvarius Haywood breaks down the 5 facts you need to know.
There's enough confusion about Veterans Day that the U.S. Department of Defense is highlighting 5 important facts about the holiday. The first thing to remember, there is no apostrophe in Veterans Day. The day honors all veterans, so no apostrophe is needed. Number 2, Veterans Day and Memorial Day are 2 different, distinct holidays celebrated in different ways. Memorial Day honors those who gave their lives for our country. Veterans Day honors everyone, dead or alive, who served and is largely extended to thank living vets for their sacrifice. Our third and fourth facts get into the history of the holiday. Veterans Day was originally called Armistice Day to commemorate the end of World War I. After World War II and the Korean War, Congress changed Armistice Day to Veterans Day, which is now celebrated on November 11th. And rounding out the top 5, Veterans Day is celebrated worldwide in different ways. For instance, Canada, Australia, and Great Britain have Remembrance Day in November honoring vets in similar fashion.
That was Tarvarius Haywood reporting. It's been 77 years since the D-Day invasion, where thousands of Americans put their lives on the line without the promise of coming home, and many didn't. But June 6, 1944 was a day that marked a turning point in World War II. It also marked a significant moment for so many young soldiers. Heather Mills shares the story of a local man who fought in that battle. He says it's when he became a man, and though it took more than 7 decades, he finally has a tangible token to remember his perseverance.
I was just a foot soldier, that's all.
Humble words from a man who was part of the D-Day invasion, storming the beach in Normandy.
During the landing, I caught a piece of shrapnel in my knee.
Fighting through that injury to make it to the Battle of the Bulge months later.
So now I stay with the outfit.
Onofrio Zakiri, No-No as he's called, says during the chaos his wound was never documented. Even after it got infected and another medic had to help, he kept fighting, and it remained off the books. 77 years later, recognition for his courage.
I finally got it. And this is it here. I finally got it. A Purple Heart.
Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman and an Army representative presented No-No with the oldest military award, also naming him October Citizen of the Month. No-No says it was his kids who pushed him to pursue the medal. He's a father of 6.
They felt like I deserved it.
A first-generation American, No-No says he was a shoemaker by trade, then a milkman. When he first moved his family to Las Vegas, he took up woodworking, something he still enjoys.
And I kept at it, kept me out of the casinos.
No-No, who turns 99 in December, was drafted at age 19.
For years I tried to forget the war.
But now he fondly remembers the friends he made and the ones he lost.
That's Rollo. Here I am here. Me and John. That's Tex.
A proud veteran, a proud American.
America, believe it.
Heather Mills, live, local, now.
A new exhibit is now open in downtown Henderson as a way to honor local veterans.
It's a story of service to others before yourself. And I think that's the whole project's goal, is to help others realize that as a country, we need to come together and serve others.
Michael Conrad was inspired by his uncle 4 years ago, who shared stories of his time in the military. So he began taking these portraits of local servicemen. Vintage American flags and artwork created by veterans is also on display. You can check it out inside Henderson City Hall. Just beautiful. And the art exhibits continue. One Colorado veteran says he's found a way to serve his country after his time in the service. Zach Smith believes he discovered his art skills by accident. His studio is his garage, where he's designed thousands of unique and patriotic paintings. By his count, there's about 8,000 pieces of his art out there in the world. The gift of this colorful work might be most cherished, though, by families who are in their darkest hour.
It's humbling to me that I have a way that I can personally give back.
His mission now, give back to military or first responder families that have had a loved one die in the line of duty. He does a special piece for every fallen brother or sister, and sadly, the work has kept him busy. So far, he's remembered more than 20 families of the fallen with a keepsake that honors their hero in a way that nothing else can. The Pentagon is home to the U.S. Department of Defense, but 20 years ago, it was defenseless against a hijacked airplane. In the iconic building's toughest time, service members took action, and as John Rogers shows us, they willingly answered the call wherever it took them.
When men and women swear the oath to defend our nation, they're prepared to face any danger this country may face, even if it comes right to their doorstep. On September 11, 2001, Daniel Fall was a second-class petty officer working for the Secretary of the Navy. His office was at the Pentagon, and at 9:37, the world stopped.
I heard a loud explosion. I stopped. My ears were ringing terribly. People were scrambling. Some were what looked like burned. Uniforms were tattered, soot marks.
Fall and thousands of others made their way to safety, but sadly, some of his friends didn't. They were killed in the terrorist attack. Undeterred, Fall and many others went right back to work the next day, while firefighters were still on the scene.
The building never stopped operating.
And the mission didn't end there. Fall and many others immediately answered the call to serve at Ground Zero. Fall spent 3 weeks in the shadow of the Trade Center's ruins, helping doctors and first responders.
What makes us great is that it's in those moments that we that are still here rise up, and what we like to say in the military, stand in the gap.
That dark day will forever stick with Fall, but he doesn't focus on the negative. He remembers it as a time when the military stood up to a challenge and succeeded. For Veterans Voices, I'm John Rogers.
Coming up next here on Veterans Voices, giving back to our warriors. The local gym helping veterans find strength and camaraderie. Stay with us. Welcome back. A Virginia veteran is making sure our fallen heroes are not forgotten. Retired Army Ranger James Howard was paralyzed in a diving accident. When he's not helping disabled children learn to ride bikes, he's commemorating fallen veterans with a dog tag memorial. It honors the more than 7,000 troops lost during the global war on terror. And with requests coming in every week, Howard has a plan.
We get requests from Phoenix, San Diego, San Francisco, all over out west. And it would just be great, I think, to bring that kind of reflection out in that area.
This year, his homemade memorial was put on display in New York City for the anniversary of 9/11. Next year, Howard plans to add the names of the 13 service members killed in Afghanistan in an attack outside the airport in Kabul. Helping our wounded warriors find their inner strength through a CrossFit gym. Branded One Crossfit is the first and only nonprofit gym in Las Vegas. It offers free memberships to veterans while they work out with the community. Victoria Saha takes us through their mission.
When we come across a veteran, we often say thank you for your service. But at Branded One CrossFit, veterans are being offered more than just a thanks. They're offered a free gym membership.
The welcoming and the atmosphere in here is what made me want to come back here.
Edward Haynes was in the Marine Corps for 20 years. Finding his way back to civilian life wasn't the easiest.
Keeping kind of a community has been beneficial in keeping some of my sanity, finding like-minded individuals in a place other than a bar.
CrossFit is a form of high-intensity training. Haynes says it reminds him of the brotherhood he felt trying to accomplish a goal with other Marines when serving.
Knowing that we're going to share some of the struggle again, you know, because struggle brings about a lot of camaraderie.
Are these your favorite exercises?
I certainly enjoy it.
Yeah. Sure. All right, let's go.
Haynes lets me join in on a session. Along with equipment, the gym has soldier boots right at the entrance and an American flag proudly hanging, adding to the welcome for those who served.
What we want to do is get them out of the house, get them doing something that's productive, so getting out of their heads.
So releases a lot of stress, and it helps you feel better. And that carries on for several hours after you're done.
Studies show since 2001, 114,000 vets have died by suicide. A scary statistic, but Branded One is hoping to give our servicemen and women another mission in life besides carrying the weight of the country.
It's not just about them though, right? It's about bringing just regular community members into the gym so that hopefully they can just feel like they're a part of a normal community.
Disabled or not, the gym has a spot waiting for any veteran. Victoria Saha, live, local, now.
Now, in honor of Veterans Day, the gym will hold its biggest fundraising event with a workout challenge on November 13th. We have registration information on our website, 8newsnow.com. Coming up next, here on Veterans Voices, proud Army veteran and celebrated hometown hero. We'll meet one soldier who stepped up to serve his country 80 years ago and continues to give back to his Colorado community today. His touching story is next. Veterans from across the country are traveling to D.C. once again after the pandemic grounded honor flights for 18 months. The nonprofit gives all expenses paid trips to those who served during the World War II, Korea, and Vietnam eras, so they can visit the memorials honoring them. Washington correspondent Jesse Teneur reports.
God bless the United States.
A hero's welcome.
Thank you, sir.
For 122 veterans at the memorials dedicated to honoring their service and sacrifice.
Okay, big smile.
Strangers at the National Mall asked for photos and shook their hands.
Hey, brothers?
While some families celebrated generations of military service in D.C. together. This honor flight from Columbus, Ohio gave those who served during the World War II, Korea, and Vietnam eras an all-expenses paid trip to reunite with those who survived and remember those who didn't.
Real joy to be out here today.
Bill Lawson served in the Navy during the Vietnam War, a time when he said many returned home to a much different reception.
Being cursed and spat on, and I think this is just a wonderful way to show we appreciate every military person.
The pandemic grounded all honor flights for 18 months. Precious time for some veterans who were hoping to take the trip, but passed away before they could.
There's not that many left from World War II that you can ask a lot of questions about.
Bill Jackson was the only World War II veteran on this honor flight. He served in the Navy, where he manned a gun turret.
Kamikaze heads and Philippines put 20 holes in our ship.
So you had a lot of close calls.
Yeah.
At 96 years old, Jackson still has vivid memories of the war, but was first reluctant to make the trip back to the memorial that honors it.
Are you glad you did?
Oh, yeah. They've been so nice to me. I can't believe it.
For Veterans Voices, I'm Jesse Teneur.
He served his country 80 years ago. Now he's stepping up once again to help his community. An Army veteran who just turned 100 years old, answering the call to action. Jeremy Hubbard has his story.
Dear Mr. Blake, thank you so much for taking the time today to read my letter.
Fan mail is not the sort of thing most 100-year-olds are used to getting.
There are not enough words to express my deep appreciation for you and all others who have served our nation.
But over the years, notes from total strangers have appeared in George Blake's mailbox.
Thank you so much. It truly means a lot to me.
With gratitude for his role in history 80 years ago. He was stationed at Pearl Harbor, December 7th.
I was only there a few minutes.
1941.
And there was this tremendous sound.
The day America was thrust into World War II.
We came out of the building and the sky was full of planes.
More than 2,400 Americans died in that attack.
I suddenly realized they were all kids.
And you could say a little part of George
19, 20,
died that day too.
Why you and not me?
A few years ago, he wrote a poem that he still can't get through without tears.
I gaze at the list of the young who died, and with pent emotions, I have cried. The tears I shed upon my cheek pose a question whose answer I seek. Why you and not me?
George is the last Pearl Harbor survivor in his small Colorado county, one of the last in the entire country, which probably explains that fan mail.
Very much so.
And the neighbors.
It is very special.
Who consider him.
George is very unique. He's a special dude.
A local celebrity.
We had a second one in town, but he died probably 10 or 12 years ago.
Not to mention an outright hero.
You know, he does make a difference.
It's a reputation solidified even further a few months ago, when this old veteran set out on a journey to serve once again. Seems a friend who works with a local charity told George there was a veteran in Britain who went on 100 walks to support healthcare workers. George's friend had an idea.
He said, would you get 100 walks in by your birthday? Can you do that? I said, I think so. So I did.
Did he ever? For more than 3 months leading up to his 100th birthday, in the thin mountain air, 7,000 feet above sea level, there he was every day.
People would come by and say, what walk was this? I said, oh, 31st or the 65th. Till my 100th birthday.
And on his birthday, he's the one who gave the present to his hometown. More than $10,000 raised through his walks to help a local nonprofit serving families during the pandemic.
I didn't mind doing it. I was walking anyway, and I was able. And that's the important thing of being a veteran anyway.
Ask anyone around here.
Is to do what you can to make a difference in your community.
They'll tell you.
He's one of the very few World War II veterans still left.
From Pearl Harbor to his front patio, service is who George Blake is.
Thank you again for your time today.
It's no wonder they're all such big fans.
That will be a tremendous surprise and gift.
For Veterans Voices, I'm Jeremy Hubbard.
George had hoped to return to Hawaii this December for the 80th anniversary ceremony at Pearl Harbor, but a minor health issue is keeping him home this year. However, he still takes those walks every chance he gets. It's not every day that you get a fire engine fanfare and a parade for your birthday. But Bakersfield resident Bettyatrice isn't just anyone. She's 106 years old and a World War II veteran. She jumped into action and enlisted in the Navy after the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor. At the time, only men could serve in most naval branches. So she joined up with Waves, a service that enlisted women. Nearly 80 years later, she's still tight-lipped about the classified project she dove into. She did reveal the keys to longevity, though: live a good, clean life and have a happy family. When we think of veterans, we often think about their roles as combat soldiers or in technical support of war. But there are thousands of other roles. Some are musicians. Born into a musical family, Roger Dickinson was drafted after graduating with a master's degree. His new mission? To play in the 44th Army Band, a position he took to heart.
You're serving your country, and we all were trying to do it the best that we could in what we did. We were musicians.
Dickinson and the Army Band spent significant time in Germany playing, but it's when he came home that his work really took shape. He eventually became a composer and educator, training future generations in the art of music. Still ahead, one man's mission to honor heroes.
I'm an old Army combat engineer. Ask us to do something impossible, we will try.
More on a seemingly impossible task and why this veteran wants to make sure the valor of his fellow servicemen is never forgotten. Stay with me. Welcome back. Search your name on the internet and you might uncover something unexpected. It happened to Army veteran Mark DeVille, and what he found was life-changing. He discovered he was a Silver Star recipient, one of the highest honors for valor in combat, and he never even knew it. That recognition is all thanks to Doug Sterner. He spends as much as 16 hours a day compiling a massive database on a website called Home of Heroes. It documents roughly 275,000 recipients of the nation's highest military honors.
I thought, well, it would be an impossible task. I said, it can't be done, but I'm an old Army combat engineer. Ask us to do something impossible, we will try.
Sterner says tracking down what he calls forgotten valor is personal. He wanted to recall the heroism of a friend killed in Vietnam and make sure his bravery was never lost. Since then, his mission has been clear: give the same due diligence to those who may have fallen through the cracks. He's rifled through millions of records over the years, doing the Herculean task many thought the military was already doing. While that may be true, it's not an easy job, and sometimes not all veterans want the recognition.
When you get a medal for heroism, it's not something you want to talk about. That medal that you got represents the worst day of your life, and that's why they're lost to history.
Sterner estimates there are still 150,000 names that need to be added to his database. If you'd like to search his records for the name of a loved one, visit homeofheroes.com. Finally here tonight, as we've said, Veterans Day is quickly approaching on November 11th. There is a woman who wants to honor the men and women who have dedicated their lives to our country. Don Kramer's father, who was a Korean veteran, is buried at the Boulder City Memorial Cemetery. When Kramer visited her dad's gravesite in 2019 and didn't see flags, she decided to take on the task herself. Last year, Kramer replaced more than 1,000 flags. This year, she has 5,000 flags. That's so far.
And I could come out there on my own diamond play out there and put 3 flags on my dad's grave and call it a day. But I can't walk past all those men and women who fought for my freedom and gave their service to our country and not be able to think, great, you know, they're being honored today. But you know what? It's going to get done. It's just going to take time.
Kramer is looking for help. You can call the local Ace Hardware store in Boulder City to order more flags. And that's it for us here. We thank you so much for joining us as we shared these incredible voices of veterans, each of them offering a unique snapshot of their lives and telling stories of bravery, loss, and the triumph of the human spirit. We hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful Veterans Day. I'm Sasha Loftus. Good night.